I mean, I know a lot of people, it's like, yo, he's toxic, blah, 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 but he's a really nice guy. He's super easy to hang out with. He's funny. It's like, it's been a good time.
Okay. So it's more of the public image is kind of wrong of Froggen.
No, I think in SoloQ he's definitely kind of toxic, but it's like knowing a person and just seeing what they write online is kind of different.
Hey everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, and I'm very honored to be joined by Froggen from Origin for the time being. How do you feel? You're gonna play the semifinals of the UA Masters very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. I'm pretty relaxed, not too nervous or anything. So.
I mean, you've some years of competition behind your back, so
yeah.
You're used to that. You've posted, or the team posted some really interesting pictures of the squad, of the Origin squad, kind of looking like a Backstreet Boys album. What's going on there?
I don't know. I mean, I just kind of post for the pictures, whatever pictures they want to take, but I'm not complaining. I mean, Backstreet Boys not bad, so.
Origin's back, all right. So let's talk a bit about the Origin's performance so far and how the team has developed. At the start, it looked like a bit the team was still having synergy problems and stuff, and Xpec came out saying in SEC not being able to understand a lot of stuff. How's the team synergy right now?
It gets better all the time. I think a lot of people haven't been able to really understand that this team was put together kind of last minute, and before we played our first game in the group stage we had about 5 days of practice, and none of us has really played together before. I mean, I know Forgiven and Jess has played together back in 2014 when Jess played mid lane, so besides that we don't really know each other at all, and on top of that InSec and Xpec don't speak English fluently, so obviously there's gonna be some struggles with communication. Being on the same page and stuff is just gonna take time. So we just try to improve it every single day, do the best that we can possibly do.
Okay, fair enough. But that makes you kind of excited because now it's probably the best Origin we've seen so far.
Yeah, the question is if we're gonna be good enough or not, but we'll do our best.
I mean, Mad Lions honestly look like the best team of the tournament so far, so I'm very excited for that match.
Well, hopefully we can beat them then.
Well, okay, so let's talk a bit about how this whole project got put together. So did you obviously, you got released by Echo Fox, went to Korea to grind out SoloQ, successfully doing so, together with Conquan, was it? Or?
I went with Gate.
Oh, Gate, right, yeah. And both of you succeeded. I think you got Challenger relatively fast and put out some videos, all good. Did you just randomly get contacted by Xpec and saying like, oh yeah, by the way, Xpec here, I want to put together a super team?
I mean, it was the manager, Isidro, that contacted me. And then we just talked about it, and then they made an offer, and then I decided that it would be okay to play with them for this EU Masters tournament, and then I'm doing that.
Okay, fair enough. But you're still, after the EU Masters, you're again a free agent?
Yes. I mean, as I said when at the start of the year, my goal is to play in the LCS and I want to win, so it doesn't make sense to just take a couple of steps down and then, I mean, I'm doing this. But obviously it depends on so many different things, but this EU Masters tournament is kind of doing the off-season for LCS anyway, so I thought about it a lot and thought it would be okay.
It's probably a good way to show your skills that you still got them and everything to the teams interested out there. Now, there have been some rumors about you potentially joining Misfits, for example, even though Misfits have now announced that they won't change any players. What is your take on your personal future? Do you already have some teams that you're looking to join, or are you still completely open to everything?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Good PR answer. So, what is it like to play with someone like Forgiven, for example? Because he's been hailed as one of the top European, even Western ADCs of all time. What has your experience been with him so far?
I mean, it's been positive mostly. It's like, obviously he has been taking breaks from League of Legends as well. And then, I mean, he's been on and off all the time with playing League of Legends, so obviously he's not at the same stage as when he played in LCS, because he would be grinding all the time at that point. But I think he's gonna go back to the military relatively soon, so this is probably the last tournament that he'll play for a while. And I mean, he's I mean, I know a lot of people, it's like, yo, he's toxic, blah, 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 but he's a really nice guy. He's super easy to hang out with. He's funny. It's like, it's been a good time.
Okay. So it's more of the public image is kind of wrong of Froggen.
No, I think in SoloQ he's definitely kind of toxic, but it's like knowing a person and just seeing what they write online is kind of different.
That absolutely makes sense. I think a lot of people can relate to that sometimes. That said though, what has it been like to play against the best European teams that are essentially not in the LCS yet? Do you think that some of these teams would potentially even deserve to play in LCS? And what do you think the overall level of the competition in Euro Masters was so far?
I mean, I'm used to LCS, so I definitely feel like it's lower.
Okay.
And I mean, there've been a couple of good showings. I think both Lion Gaming and Mad Lions and Gamers Region have been showing really good performances, but if it's enough to actually beat LCS teams or not, I have no clue about. Also, I haven't played against EU LCS teams for a while because obviously I've been in NA and then I went to Korea, so I mean, I don't really know the level of the EU teams that well right now, so it's hard for me to say.
Fair enough. Now, of course, that's a big question, actually, you know, the level of the UL systems, because we have had so many ties and so many teams standing at the bottom, being on the same level, essentially. So that's very interesting to see. Are you excited for the partnership system of the ULCS?
The partner system?
Yeah, the franchise system. It's officially called the partnership system.
Oh, I see. I mean, I think it's exciting. It's not really something I know too much about, so I can't say too much about it.
Fair. What's your take on the LeBlanc changes?
I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to say because whenever a champion just get changed, it's gonna take a while to like play the champion properly again. Obviously, it's like how you do the combos and how you use your abilities are very different with this LeBlanc compared to the old one. So it's going to take a lot of practice from the people playing her right now. So it's hard to judge the power of her right now. But Karte says successfully I counter to LeBlanc again. So
finally. Yeah, a lot of people have said that she's super OP now that she got changed back. ADCs are on suicide watch left, right, and center.
Yeah, I mean it's just the normal Q into the ultimate Q that can basically just kill you together with the electrocute. So I mean it's definitely strong with the new runes coming into play. So I mean you're probably gonna see her get tweaked a bit.
Okay. What's your take on Anivia's stance in the meta right now? We've seen her a few times in LCS. I think
she's OP right now. Like she is. I think you'd probably be able to play her against everything and like every single comp and do well with her because most of the time you just see like there's a bunch of tanks and Anivia does really well against them, obviously because of the wall, but her ultimate and Q and stuff kites really well, deals a lot of damage, all those kind of things you kind of want against tanks. So when it's just a massive tank war, Anivia is really, really OP if you actually know how to play her well. So I think she's good right now.
Your best advice for the SoloQ mid laners out there?
I don't really have much advice. It's
play Anivia.
I don't know. I think advice is difficult. I don't know. I suck at giving good advice because I think there's so many different aspects to a lot of things. So it's hard just to say one thing and then it's just like that and then never.
You can list three things if you want.
Nah, it's gonna be the same. I suck at giving advice. I think so. Okay, so this is more generally for everyone instead of just mid laners. Everyone kind of complains. Like I stream a decent amount, and I always see people come into my chat and complain about their teams and stuff. And I think if you just think of yourself as being super bad at the game, right? You're never gonna ever get mad at your team. And I think the whole process of like you thinking your team sucks and you can never win because your team is holding you back is super unhealthy for actually self-improvement and actually winning games. And it's only going to give you a bad mindset like for the next coming games, because if you have that, you're probably just going to rage queue. Like you lose your queue again, you lose your queue again, you know? So if people try to be more open-minded about what's going on in their games and willing to admit that they can sometimes do something wrong, then it would probably help them improve a lot.
Okay, very good advice. That's a Zen mode right there. One last question. The biggest difference between EU, NA SoloQ and Korean SoloQ, since you've said a fair bit there.
In Korean SoloQ, I think there's so many different players. That's one thing people are not quite understanding whenever they think about Korean SoloQ. They only think Korea. But what's really going on is like Chinese players, like pro players, what's called Southeast Asia pro players, they're all like playing on the Korean server. So you basically have like 3 different regions, like maybe even more. There's some oceanic players, like there's players from all around Korea playing on that server, which just boosts like the master challenger level by a whole lot because you got all those pros grouped up in the same spot. So with all those players there, there's always like every single role is usually like good players. There's not too many auto-fill players. I think that's the biggest difference from Korea compared to NA and EU. There's like in NA and EU, I see there's a lack of top laners. If you queue top, you will basically get it half the time, if not more. But in Korea, there's really good players in every single role because of this, and obviously the low ping helps as well. They type a lot in Korea. Obviously there's the famous open mid. I didn't experience that too much this time I went. But
previous times?
Yeah, but they definitely type a lot. And then NA, I would say, is just more friendly than EU. Like EU is kind of like you got all these nationalities like bumping heads, like writing to each other, being angry at each other. I mean, it can be kind of funny to experience, but in EU they definitely talk more than NA. I think that's like the biggest difference.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Talk less maybe in SoloQ and maybe you'll improve. Keep the mindset of Froggen. This was of course Froggen and Darius from the Shotcaller. Hope you had a good day. See you then. Hey everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller and I hope you just enjoyed that video. This is a generic end card of course, so make sure to click here for a different interview or here for a different interview or about here to subscribe to the Shotcaller. We very much appreciate your support and see you guys next time. Bye bye.